There's this notion out there that revocable living trusts are only for the rich or wealthy in Florida, and I'm here to tell you that is absolutely not the case. Revocable living trusts aren't for everyone, but if you own real estate, a revocable trust is for you. If you have any assets at all that you want to avoid probate, a revocable living trust is for you. If you have assets that you want someone else to be able to manage for you should you become incapacitated, a revocable living trust is for you. Sometimes you have heirs that you need to protect from themselves, right? If you have a child who has a gambling problem or a drug habit, you may not want them to get your real estate, or you may not want them to get direct access to money. You may want a more responsible family member who's there to support them and buy them things that they may need to help them on their journey, but you may not want to give it to them outright. What if you have young children? Even if you have children who are over age, there's not too many 18-year-olds I know who should be coming into any amount of money, no matter how small. You might want to set up a revocable trust so that someone you know and trust who's older and more responsible can, again, hold the money in trust for them and only pay for things, whether it's paying for their education or religious needs and whatever else you want. Revocable living trusts are also really good to keep money in the family. If there is your child has a spouse that you don't approve of, you want to make sure that they never have direct access to your money after you pass away, you'd want to keep it in a revocable living trust and make sure that that person can never serve as a trustee, and that's something that we're able to do. Also, it brings up the point of creditor protection, right? If one of your children gets divorced or goes bankrupt or has a creditor that's trying to sue them, they wouldn't be able to access funds that you leave to them in a revocable trust if it's structured properly. If you have a child who has special needs, you want to make sure they're never inheriting anything that's going to jeopardize their access to Medicaid or other government benefits. A revocable living trust is good for that. Is good for that too. But mostly, even if none of these things apply to you, if you just want to make things a little bit easier on your family after you pass away, so they don't have to hire another attorney to go through the whole probate process, which is long, can be time-consuming, can be expensive, to eventually get access to your stuff. A revocable living trust will go a long way of making their lives just a little bit easier and getting to avoid that whole probate process altogether. Just is getting rid of one last headache. Finally, what's really nice about revocable trust is that they're infinitely flexible and amendable. If you don't want someone getting money until they reach a certain age, we can put it in there. If you want to make sure the house stays in the family for someone to live in for the rest of their life, we can put those sorts of provisions. And if you change your mind, as long as you have your mind and are able to do so, the document remains both revocable and amendable. And what's nice about it is after you pass away, then it becomes irrevocable. So you know that your wishes are going to be honored. And so again, for all these reasons, revocable living trusts are not just for the wealthy. They're for regular, ordinary folks like you and me as well. Middle class, upper middle class folks who have any amount of assets. Revocable living trust can be very, very helpful. Hope this answers that question and puts that myth to rest. Revocable living trusts are certainly not just for the wealthy. If you'd like to talk more about estate planning, please give us a call. Thank you. Take care.